Hi guys, my name is Fernando Lopez, and today I will be presenting my informative speech. As you may all know, I am a pharmacy technician, and most of my interests do fall on medications. Therefore, today's speech will focus on informing you guys about prescription drug abuse. Now, during the 1800s, the abuse of prescription drugs in America began with a medication known as laudanum. This medication is a mixture of both an opium and alcohol and helps with complications such as pain, anxiety, cough, sleeplessness, and back then the drug was seen as a permanent as many doctors across the country began utilizing it. Therefore, it can be compared to morphine today. Today, a variety of medications allow individuals treat a multitude of diseases and illnesses across the world, whether permanent or temporary. However, many people seem to be ignorant about the negative consequences there may be if handled incorrectly. In fact, on March 2020, medical director Jennifer Casarella stated that more than 18 million people ages 12 and older have utilized prescription drugs for non-medical reasons in the United States as of 2019. As a result, drugs do portray a weapon which can eventually lead to death. Hopefully not, but it is a possibility. This speech will analyze the impact that prescription drug abuse has made within the pharmaceutical field. Today, I will speak about and inform you about the classifications of drugs that are mostly misused, the signs and symptoms that prescription drug abuse has, and the manner in which it does alter humans mentally and physically. Now, in the United States of America, the Food and Drug Administration, which is an agency that takes care of manufacturing of consumer products such as food, pharmaceuticals, and medical devices, has legalized over 20,000 prescription drug products to be sold in the market. So just think about that, how many drugs there is around the world that people can get with a simple prescription. Of course, each of these drugs is designated into different classifications and are separated based on their purpose and how they impact the human body. For example, there is antibiotics such as amoxicillin, analgesics such as Tylenol, and excuse me, antidepressants such as escitalopram. However, some medications do show a greater risk of abuse than others. Now, according to the Mayo Clinic staff, the mostly common abused prescriptions do include stimulants, opioids, and anti-anxiety medications and sedatives. Now, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, in 2018, an average of 41 individuals passed away each day from overdoses involving prescription opioids. Therefore, it totals up to a total of 15,000 deaths per year. To be sincere, any individual who consumes opioids is prone to abuse them. But why is that? Opioids such as hydrocodone, morphine, fentanyl, and codeine are medications used to treat moderate to severe pain. These medications are responsible for blocking pain messages sent from the brain to the body, and they do release large amounts of dopamine, which is a chemical messenger that plays a role of feeling pleasure. So can you imagine, people do get addicted to not wanting to feel the pain, and they just simply want to block it out and feel the pleasure all the time. Now, stimulants function in a different way. They function within the central nervous system by increasing alertness and psychological function. Originally, these drugs are meant to treat ADHD, which of course we all probably are familiar with. However, today a lot of stimulants such as Adderall and Concerta are often abused by teenagers and especially those in college. They use it as a method of preparing for finals or cope with the hassle of an academic and a busy life. After all, these medications do intensify the activity of brain chemicals known as norepinephrine. This does improve factors such as wakefulness, memory, storage, energy, concentration, and talkativeness. It's the fight or flight. That's what it inactives. Hopefully, all of you are kind of familiar with that. And finally, according to the American Academy of Family Physicians, more than 50 million prescriptions are written for central nervous system depressants, which makes up 11 to 15% of the American society. This category of medications is known for reducing anxiety, seizures, and panic attacks. They do induce sleep, and I feel like one of the medications that we are more familiar with are Xanax, and these do enhance the activity of a chemical messenger which is known as GABA. Of course, this does aid in the tranquilizing of the activity of the brain, so it kind of relaxes you, and people kind of get addicted to that. As if people know as today, they know it as in feeling high or euphoria. So, what are some signs and symptoms for prescription drug abuse? Each classification of prescribed drugs, they show different signs and symptoms, but there is a similar behavior between the people that mishandle these medications. At first, this medication can be seen when individuals experiment with the use of the recreational drugs such as weed or tobacco to experience a sensation of, like I said, feeling high. Eventually, these individuals, they do become curious and they start to expand their options to prescription drugs, like for example, to increase the feelings experienced. Signs that are often seen in drug abusers, they do include stealing, selling prescriptions, taking higher doses than prescribed, excessive mood swings, hostility, the increase in sleep, the appearing to be high, and I've seen this a lot in the pharmacy, the losing of prescriptions or the asking for an early refill. Lately at work, people have been asking for early refills of a certain medication, and unfortunately we can. It's them taking it too often, too quickly, or and they start yelling at us and screaming at us, cursing. But that's how you know when someone has built an addiction. Now, how does it alter human mentally and physically? Prescription drug abuse is a problem, unfortunately, that is devastating society in the United States. Of course, it does not discriminate. It goes against any single race, size, ages, and it can be found in pretty much, excuse me, anyone. This condition is one of the main health catastrophes faced in the United States, with more than 2,400 drug-related visits in the emergency room per day, according to Mayo Clinic. People who tend to abuse prescription drugs are at a high risk of self-destructive behavior, poor health, overdose, and hopefully not, like I said, but eventually it can lead to death. One of the most extreme ways that it can alter us humans, it causes physical dependence, which is also known as tolerance. It is basically the body's response to the long-term use of a certain remedy. So if you keep using ibuprofen for pain and you just keep increasing it, and it doesn't affect you, you become physically dependent on it, and your body just craves a higher dose in order for you to feel normal. And so you don't encounter those same symptoms that disrupted your activity, you know? It does react through the body by causing minor manifestations such as constipation, paranoia, poor coordination, problems with memory, and things like that. And according to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, every year in the United States of America, an estimated amount of 40,000 lives are tragically lost due to the overdose of drugs, with more than half of the fatalities caused by prescription drugs. First, I was able to speak about the classification of medications that are mostly misused within the United States. Second, I informed you on the signs and symptoms that an abuser shows. And finally, I explained how it alters humans mentally and physically. All in all, allowing me to inform you about the impact and analyze the impact that prescription drug abuse has made within the pharmaceutical field. If someone is struggling with prescription drug addiction, physicians usually do recommend various facilities that may help the individual, or also recommend contacting the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration crisis line at 1-800-662-HELP, all in capitals. And thank you guys for listening so much today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you.